Hello, welcome to Laura's Painted Minis. I am Laura. We're just gonna be finishing up this guy. Got the ton left and then the base. So get some colors mixed up for those things and get going. Ooh. There we go. It's a little bit more than what I wanted, but that's okay. We will make do. All sorts of clogged up paint. And let's see. This will be tongue, and then there's some, kind of see, because I went through and outlined the things that are on the base. There's some, they look like feathers. I mean, they could be leaves, but this one especially looks like it's a feather. So I'm going to paint them all like feathers that are on the base. Not going to get quite as finicky on them as I did with the feathers that were on the Owlbear. There we go. Now it's kind of more in between those two colors. And then I'll actually do one of the there is very clearly like a branch on the base, so we'll do this up here for the branch. I need to go check on something real quick. Yeah. Cat was pawing at my son's door, which he just went down for a nap. So not great timing. We'll see if this may not change a whole lot. May need to Of course, it is a small branch, so I might not even need 4. You can see it right here. Yeah, since Owlbear, so that's Owlbear brown I'm using here. That is this one. It's not like all that lighter than, like comparatively, it does look quite a bit lighter. But it is still pretty dark. Worst case scenario, I just don't use these 2 mixes and instead use like one of these colors to do like the highest highlight or something. Let's see, gotta mix the pinks. That would help. I kind of figured that would probably need more pink in it than again, these pinks are for the tongue. In case you're wondering why I'm mixing up some pink. Okay. Just use that really dark color that we made of pink and walnut brown. It's not going to be very much different than what's already in there, but it will give it does give kind of like a nice pink undertone. So it looks maybe a little bit more natural than just the straight up brown that was there. And that's what it looks like after one layer of just the regular pink. I was using Doxy blush actually. I kind of like that as a nice like I don't know, tongue color of sorts. Let's see. I'm trying to think. I think I will. So I am going to glue on some flocking. So I think I might actually go ahead and start gluing some of that on. Get it so that's right up against the base, so that way we have kind of an natural flow. This way, if I'm not gonna just paint up the base and then end up accidentally covering it up with flocking, and also can use a lot of similar colors on the flocking. As far as that goes, let's see, I will use my cover for catch any flocking, whatever you want to call this stiff. I kind of mix together some different things, different brands to make what I call it my forest mix. So I'm probably gonna need to mix up some more. See if we can just get by with what we have. I'm just going along the sides because we do not want basing on the sides. Doesn't look very good unless you are like kind of going for the goal of completely covering up that there is a base there, but other than that, there's probably not really a good reason to cover up the sides. It's one of the places that people, like, once you pick it up, they're gonna grab on to here, and so like it's gonna very easily get rubbed off, even if you have really good glue of sorts. So I'll go around and see what actually has stuck to the glue. Extra just goes back into my cup. So I can try and use it again. There. Now the glue will dry clear. Probably will take a little bit before it actually fully dries. But we at least have like a good idea from here of you know, what actually got covered up and whatnot. Actually, I'll move that out of the screen. There's always a little bit that ends up still needing to be just wiped off the desk. I don't really bother trying to get that just because sometimes there can be other crumbs or pieces of resin or whatever, depending on what I've been doing at the desk lately. Okay. And now we'll go back to the tongue. Oops. So the danger of doing that is accidentally touching the wet glue. All right. I'm just gonna do just like one little bit of layer of that pink and up here. And I'll come in with that lighter pink. All right, it looks pretty decent for a tongue. So do some very simple textures here on what I'm going to do as what I'm going to say are some of his feathers. Maybe he's molting or something. I don't know. Forgot about this one underneath him. Oh, before I forget, so normally I stream on Thursdays. This week I will not because of American Thanksgiving. And I know if you've been watching, if you watch my Instagram or Facebook, I might even mention this on stream too. But I will know I mentioned making sure to actually be able to show you how I figured out to do a potion bottle that looks like it has liquid in it. Normally that would have been Thursday that I would have shown that I would have done that, and I also don't want to like push that back much, but I will plan to still do my Wednesday work in progress short. I make those. It was kind of came up specifically for my TikTok, but I do post it on my like YouTube and Instagram. Well, then yeah, like whatever I post on my Instagram will also get posted to my Facebook because that's how that works. So yeah. That's looking pretty good. That is one of the cats. And then when this is all dry, I think I'm gonna focus more on just kind of making it look like it's more ground gravel and stuff. Since there's really not much actual grass mixed in here. Like you can see it up close, and you can kind of see it on camera, I guess. That there is some grass flocking in the mix, but there's not very much left. I used to have more mixed in. So, yep. Let's see. I can get out another mini to get started on. bunch of base holders down. This was, and we'll go back to doing a pack of 5. I only have so many big singular monsters left. And this time, I'll leave this with the minis this time. Last time, I think I put it over in just a pile of stuff, pile of other bags, and then I got busy and completely forgot to reuse the bag when I shipped it, unfortunately. So, yep. To get these guys cleaned up. Got some, I think these look like they're just skeleton warriors. They're also from Next Level Miniatures company. These are just like little flashings. I do Silecast. Oh, that's kind of fun. It's like a broken blade. We've all got that then. They'll all be the same. These must have been from the first, their first Kickstarter. So I feel like in their second one, they started providing integral bases and whatnot. Just to be clear, this is not like a super sharp. Here, zoom out. This is not like brand new blade or anything. It's probably, otherwise I probably would have cut myself by now. Trying to get it so that there's a good, let's see how they're meant to stand. So this whole foot flat. And then this 4-foot has to be the other. That's gonna have good level. So yeah, should be able to get the Owlbear up on eBay this week. Since we've got like a start on the pretty good start on the basing today, and I mean, like, again, it is for eBay paint to sell, and I usually do like an auction, although I am I have noticed that eBay allows like storefronts. Not that I want that, but um, might look into like if I can just like kind of do a listing where it's just buy it now and not have it like expire like an auction would. I'll have to look into that. I mean, of course, if you already know, you can feel free to let me know, and then that would save me time. If you already know stuffs about that. I don't really do much with eBay. And like I said, I don't really want to do it. My goal is not to have a storefront. My goal is just to try and like, I have paint to sell, and so I enjoy that. I can paint it the way I want to, for the most part. I mean, I do have to still think about painting it in a way that isn't like super crazy weird that no one else would want it, but I don't generally do that too often as far as like having crazy weird ideas for paint jobs. I like to change up the colors maybe every now and then, but like as far as like there's going super weird, like picking some weird, yeah, I don't even know. Like I've seen some people do like for a different Owlbear mini, one from Reaper Miniatures. Someone did like it was a parrot color scheme like on it. It was actually pretty well done, but definitely out there, and probably not something that like a wide variety of people are like, oh yeah, I want to buy that. Because I imagine more people are probably buying to just get some painted minis they can use right away or whatever. Or at least that's kind of, the audience that I'm kind of trying to hit with the eBay listings, I guess. I know this is not super exciting to watch. I figured it'd be more exciting than watching glue dry though, since that's kind of basically what I'm waiting for on the Owlbear, is for the glue to dry. And since I won't be streaming Thursday, I didn't want to cut things short on you. I also don't have very many things open or wells open on my palette. Because I did think about maybe like, oh hey, I did think about just switching over and showing you a potion bottle, but then I would basically have to get my palette all cleaned off. And kind of would like to not do that because I can then use some of the paint that's already on here for when all the flocking and glue, well, it's really just the glue, when the glue is dry. Well, I will add some more flocking. I plan to add more flocking to the base. over there. I do appreciate, like, you know, they add in some fun details. You don't notice them at first. You get in and you can, you know, like the broken sword. It's kind of a fun detail. And kind of a little more realistic, I think, you know, if you've got like a skeleton warrior. Let's see, is that, yeah, this foot we want. Flat. For when we eventually glue it onto base. And I will have to use, I've noticed the Loctite super glue gel does not like this material quite as well. It does not create a very strong bond. I have been noticing a lot of the ones that I've glued of their miniatures, especially from the first one, because they didn't have any integral bases or anything. A lot of them I've had to re-glue onto the base. So I'm gonna try using my Yoo-hoo glue, which is it's kind of like a sort of, it's very much like a tacky glue, if you're familiar with that. Takes a little, that one takes a little longer to set, but with glue that also means that it usually is a bit of a stronger bond in some cases. This comes down to the material that it's being used on, so no. There's also the fact that since it doesn't have like an integral base that you're gluing onto a base, gaming base, there's very little points of actual connecting points, especially like a figure like this. It's gonna have just this foot and this like little part to actually bond to the base for the glue to adhere to. So more than anything, that's probably why I'm having trouble with these particular miniatures not wanting to stay on the base after being glued. Oh, I got to see Wicked twice this weekend. Then, the part 2. I got invited by 2 different people, and it's like, you know what? That sounds fun. I don't really go to movies on opening weekend much anymore, let alone like going to the movie theater anymore. It's kind of hard. You're got a toddler, you have to make sure there's a babysitter, because there's no way they're going to be able to sit through even a child's movie. Most of the movies that my husband and I would be really interested in seeing in the theaters are not age appropriate for a toddler. So another reason we would need to get a babysitter. This is actually more flashings right here. I think they did a really good job on it. In case you were wondering if you were a Wicked fan. They so Act 2 can go really fast. If you haven't been to the play. I mean, it's about, if you listen to the if you listen just to the soundtrack, the second act, so it'd be after Defying Gravity song. It's where the Act 1 ends, which is why that's where the first movie ended, was after that song. There's some lines and stuff in between songs for Act 2, but not as much, I would say, in Act 1. And there's also not, I don't think there's as many songs either. It feels a lot shorter as far as the play goes. And so this one actually slowed things down a little bit, so that, because there's a lot too, that is a lot more happening too in the story in Act 2. But it can be hard to be able to process all that's happening in the story, if you're just watching the play. So I feel like the movie part 2 or Act 2 did a really good job kind of slowing things down a little bit and letting you be able to actually like process, I guess, like the story as it was unfolding. That's how I would kind of like describe it, really. It's slower than the Broadway act 2. But I think it was good what they added in, and or how they how they lengthened it, basically. I think if you already like the Broadway play and the music, as well as the storyline in general, I think you're gonna like it. I think you're gonna like the second part. Oh, and tomorrow the new YouTube paint along video drops. And I do offer early access to it through my Patreon. Yeah, see it 1 week early. You can either search now for under the same name, Laura's Painted Minis, on my Patreon, where I'll post my socials into the chat here in just a minute. Oh, and for, I guess you guys can get a little special heads up, but I'm gonna try out Fiverr again. I don't remember if I actually like talked much about that when I had tried it out previously. But I feel like I am better situated now. That I could be a little more prepared in various ways, be more confident in my painting abilities, more confident in just like estimating like how much time it would take between, you know, someone purchasing a gig and me actually getting it shipped off. Since I've been doing the eBay, that's kind of helped me kind of keep mental notes of how long it sometimes takes, depending on if I remember that it's a paint to sale mini and don't get too finicky over some details or try like super crazy advanced techniques. Right. 3 out of the 5 guys. Skeleton warriors, I guess, is what they are. There's a link tree there now in chat. All the different places that I'm at listed, and I also have my commission prices in there too. Let's see. I think the glue's dry enough, so I'm gonna go ahead and put some more flocking on it and get some. There's some patches here and there, and also just to kind of get it a little bit more built up around this integral base, so it looks more natural. So the glue. Let's do this. Some glue there. Oops. Came out the nozzle kind of weird there and spilled over. But I'll just do like a border of glue around here. I think actually I'll go ahead and do some glue all over. Just do like a whole nother layer basically. Touch there. You got a lot of time to like kind of move it around, and that was kind of, I don't know why I didn't do that earlier. Probably was a little distracted because normally I don't have like another thing on the mini itself that I actually need to still paint when I'm doing the basing, so that I probably just accidentally ended up distracting myself. Moving the coffee further away so I don't get flopping in my coffee, because that would be gross. Okay. So I mean that was an area that had kind of a bare spot in the first place, so it works out fine. That we kind of did a little extra build up. Here, get this away from the feet a little bit. And then just kind of like pushing it down in some areas will kind of create that natural unevenness. So there, and then we'll wait and for glue to dry, see how that all looks, and then I'll get it all painted. Assuming there aren't any other bare spots that I notice. But that's probably it for the actual stream. So we are getting started on some new guys. Finishing up Owlbear. And that is what we got done today. So stay tuned. On my socials, especially like Instagram and Facebook, I will for sure post a link to the listing once I've got the Owlbear up on there. Might be a couple days just to, for the glue to completely dry, and then to paint it, and then be able to take pictures, and also seal it in there as well. Do a sealer on it, so the paint job does not get damaged in shipping or handling. Since I'm assuming there are going to be people who are getting it to use on their tabletop. So yeah, so again, I will not be on Thursday because it's a holiday here. You can keep a lookout on my other socials, other places for Wednesday work in progress. You can see here's my tryout of doing a potion bottle. I needed one to be like kind of a black oily liquid, so that's kind of why it's like this. I kind of assumed that she'd be like this would be the main focal point if I take pictures, or I will take pictures, and then probably this back here again so that I can. So yeah, that's why I chose those as kind of the places to put the extra shine on. So, but that's the only one that I will do black on. There'll be kind of multiple colors that will do. So for sure, Wednesday I'll do at least one other bottle, and this week we'll see if I get anything else done this week with the holiday. And then next week we'll be back to the paint to sell minis, which will be these guys. I'll get them all cleaned up and probably on a base of some sort. So yeah, hope you have a good holiday as well if you are in America. If not, then I hope you have a good week in general, and I will see you next week. All right. Bye.